Is an imminent cryptocurrency market reversal happening right as we speak? Are these candles a sign that it was time to sell the top at 12K, that you knew it all along? This certainly seems to be the sentiment looking at the TradingView chats and all the telegrams going around. It just seems like 2 days ago, like yesterday, everyone was extremely bullish and very confident in their positions. And it's moments like this, moments that you didn't really expect, moments that it seems everybody freaks out about. Moments when maybe the top trending cryptocurrency moves down 16%. But people begin to question their fundamental bias, and that is why we do the show, and that is why we trade the way that we do. So join us for some objective analysis of objective facts about the market for a true sense of where the market is actually heading in today's episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Yeah, we went there. Welcome back to Breaking Bitcoin. This is your daily source for everything cryptocurrency markets and personal finance. My name is Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at KrakenCryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic wherever you happen to be, wherever you happen to be in this world that we call home, and however you happen to be tuning into the show. And that could be through YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live. You could also be watching us on Roku with the Investor News Channel app. Shout out to them. Either way, guys, you know the drill. If you guys want to support the show, take a moment before we start, because we've got a lot to talk about. A lot to talk about today. A lot of points I want to make, a lot of topics I want to go over, a lot of charts I want to look at. But overall, again, emotional discipline, trade psychology, risk management, strategy trading, all of the things that you need in place to be a successful trader, we're going to go over those today. But take a moment and support us. Obviously, with all of the Bitcoin scams out there, good live streams like ours get flagged even when we don't want them to. All the content creators dealing with it. So if you take a moment to make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you're not already, hit the thumbs up button. Smashing the like up does help us get out there and make sure that we're in everybody's feeds. It helps more than you guys realize. So fight the power. All right. We're going to be covering Chainlink in some great detail. Bob the Builder, my man. The man, the myth, the legend. You know, Paul, I want to say I've been extremely proud of you. You know, you are doing the things that you need to do to be a very successful man. Waking up in the morning, you're in the chats early. You're helping mentor other individuals. You're just being a fantastic human person in the Discord. So huge shout outs to you, my friend. Thank you so much for the $10 tip. You deserve it more than I do. He says here, to the man who listen, I'm going to kindly say thank you very much, man. It's been a pleasure to know you as a human and as an individual. So we're going to be covering Chainlink in some great detail later on in the show. We're going to do a segment on it. And the reason why is because it's Chainlink, okay? It's one of those coins, you know, as a 4chan coin, I'll give you guys like my personal journey with Link. You know, it's just one of those interesting things that and like a lot of people, didn't pay enough attention to back in the early days. And 4chan was incredibly bullish about it. I do remember there was a period in time when quite a few individuals from 4chan would come to the stream. This was probably about a year ago. We went through like a couple of months where a lot of 4chaners would come into the stream. And they always wanted to talk about Link. Just stinky Linky, just all the time wanted to talk about Link. And it was something that I didn't really do, personally anyways. It just wasn't something that I paid a lot of credence to. I certainly did then as I prepared in the accumulation phase, like when the market reached the area where I was prepared to begin putting on my positions. You know, it was, I did research it then. And although I wasn't able to, and we'll get into this later. This is one of the videos that I'm going to put out later on. And it's something that I think people need to hear because I talked to so many people. I've mentored a lot of individuals. You know, the community has helped a lot of people out. And one of the biggest things, it's just the common issue that I talk to people about is no matter where they bought Bitcoin or no matter where they sold Bitcoin or no matter how they did it on alt trade or no matter how much their P&L is, they always want to compare themselves to something that is not necessarily realistic. And that is the size or the distance of the movement on a coin from, let's say, a significant swing low when it bottoms out to like that blow off top peak. It seems like everybody wants to chase that. Everybody wants that. And a lot of individuals feel as if they're not complete if they don't get that, like they're less of a trader, like they've accomplished less. And nothing could be farther from the truth because let me let you guys in on a dirty little secret, right? I never sell the top. Okay. I am a professional trader. I have done this for a long time. I consistently extract money from the market. and I never sell the top, period. Because A, that's not my edge, B, that's not my strategy, and C, you almost never get to do that. Like, it is extremely rare. Like, you might get completely lucky sometime and actually sell on the very high candle. But the idea that you need to do that, or that you need to accomplish that, or that somehow the longer you trade, you'll be better apt to do that. Certainly, as you grow as a trader, you can get better at selling near market tops or market bottoms, or identifying areas that are statistically likely good areas to sell. But one of the most damaging things that you can do as a trader is have unrealistic expectations and compare yourself to what the broader market is performing. The reality is, the majority of individuals who try their hand at trading lose. They fail. They do not make money. So the ability to come in and extract profit from the market in one way, shape, or another, knowing that you are up against, let's just talk about cryptocurrency. Here's what you're up against in cryptocurrency: whales, pools, exchanges who know exactly where your orders are and communicate with communicate with either proprietary desks, their own desks, or some sort of knowledge transferring kind of predatory trading desk. Desk is the word, right? It's a collection of traders who are trading with a particular edge. In this case, they're trading with what in traditional equities is an illegal edge, which is the ability to see where all the orders are, which only the exchange or broker typically knows how to do. But in this case, well, the exchanges are unregulated. So you're up against a lot. So, there's kind of a joke that we say quite a bit, which is, exchanges and market makers only employ the best artists so that they can draw the most convincing patterns to fake the most amount of traders out. And that is often the case. So listen, I could go into this for quite a while, but the main point is this. The main takeaway is this. If you're trading cryptocurrency, you're up against a lot. It's not an easy thing to do. A, it's not easy to adopt cryptocurrency. B, it's not easy to be a cryptocurrency trader. And C, it's hard to make money doing it. You would think with all of the markets going up, with all of the prices going up, yes, Justin, how could it be hard to be a trader right now? You're right. It's easy to make money in a bull market. But it's not. It's really not. It's easy to get unrealized P&L in a bull market, right? You buy something and then you hold it. And if the experiences from 2018 have taught anybody anything, a lot of individuals ended up buying positions, didn't take profit, didn't take sufficient profit, and held those positions down to the point where they became a loss. And the same thing could happen right now. If the market does correct in a significant way and we do break trends, which by the way, we're nowhere near close to doing, but if we do, you have to identify those areas and let losers go and realize profits. Right now, ideally, you have some sort of exit strategy that capitalizes on a nearer to the top than, let's say, a trend flip. But still, if you're able to get out when the trend flips and be sitting on the fruit of your labor, the results of your investment, like the ultimate decision. We talked about this yesterday. Like, why are you trading? Why are you investing? What's your end game? What's your end goal? What are you going to do with the money? Well, first you have to get the money. And getting there is not easy. So I want to give just a big shout out to all you guys, who come to the channel regularly, who watch the show, who have been here grinding it out with us for quite a while. We've been doing this show for quite a while, and it's just a really good experience to be with a good community of individuals who have been with us for a while, who put the work in, who built their systems, who tested their strategies, who applied their strategy to the market the correct way, and have been able to enjoy this bullish run and been able to largely, as I've been saying, sit on their hands and enjoy the profits and realize them when the time is right. So huge shout out to you guys. It takes a lot of work, the few, the proud, the brave, but that's why this channel exists. That's why we do what we do. So with that being said, make sure, listen guys, if another Dereko storms in here and takes out the power, make sure that you guys are in the Discord at discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. I see Mass Stash in the chat. He says, no worry, the train came back and ate that candle this morning. You go chill. When everyone's bullish, happens often. Damien Hughes saying, smash up the like. Thank you, my friend. Tyler Dukacek got a continuation long signal at 12,288. Early exit signal the next day at 12,222. I'll take the small loss. That's not bad, my friend. Yeah, big spender Paul, Bob the Builder, Crypto Jack, and Midwest Attempts in the chat. As always, shout out to you guys. And senior analyst Alexander, I know that he is watching from afar. Sean J, shout out to you as well. David Rice. We've got Busters96. Hey, what's going on? Welcome to us on Twitch. And Cat Futures, Ali, B-Flow, S180, XT. If I missed anybody, it's only because I did not look that hard. All right. Let's get to the charts and break everything down. If you guys have questions, please drop them in the live chat. The moderators are there to help you, not hurt you. And we're going to have a great show. Let's get going, guys. All right, we'll start off with our customary drink of water. All right. Peckham 08, good to see you, my friend. I'll still hold your feet to the fire, Peckham. I believe it was you in the Discord. What was it, 2 nights ago? It was like, we're going to 8,900 tonight. We did not go to 8,900. We broke up to 12,000. But he says, we have our 1,800 GMT blunts happening now. Sold out last night. Sorry, y'all. I hope you did well on Orchid. I know you were incredibly bullish on that. Thanks for the tip yesterday. Or excuse me, Numenaire. Sorry. Excuse me. Thank you for that. But you've been, listen, I pay attention to everything that goes on in that Discord. And Peckham, you're doing well. All right, Yorick. Murgor, Alexander, good to see you as well. Not the Alexander, but a Alexander. And I respect them all equally. All right, so let's go over, and the first thing we're going to look at today is very simple, the best way to glean what is objectively going on with the charts, or the simplest way for us to decide what action should we take. Does it really matter what's going on in the charts? Not necessarily, if it does not translate to something that we can take action on, right? So for example, you know, when people tell me, hey, what do you think of this cup and handle forming? I think to myself, I don't trade cup and handles, so there is very little reason for me to look at this chart, because the more of any external input that I put into my brain, you know, about a chart or about a trade, the more I might find myself questioning my own analysis. And if I can tell you one thing about trading, it's that, I guess a few things. I can tell you a bunch of things about trading, but one thing that's sticking in my mind right now is that at the end of the day, you have to be comfortable with being powerless. As I said in the weekend update video that came over the weekend, make sure to check that out if you haven't, especially the last half, because we go into trade psychology and 5 reasons why traders lose money. Big shout out to Tenacious V as well for proposing that in the Discord. You have to trust yourself, right? And for a lot of individuals, especially nowadays, that is very difficult. Most individuals have very little self-esteem. Most individuals do not have a good mental image of themselves. Most individuals do not have a lot of confidence in themselves or in their decisions or in their ability to solve problems, right? And I think a lot of this has to do with there's been an abrogation of parenting, there's been a loss of community, there's been, you know, a lot of things that we can point the finger at, but it is what it is. But when you approach the financial markets and you want to become a trader, you are speculating on things that are going to occur in the future, and you don't know. So the results of your the results of your work, the results of your trade are out of your control. Like, you are not in control of whether your trade, you know, wins or loses. You're just along for the ride. Like, you aren't even involved at all. Like, it's not you as a person. It's not your decision-making process. It's not your critical thinking. Those things can play a part, but ultimately that's not you. What puts on the trade should ideally be a strategy, something that is objective, measurable, and can be changed. Mechanical strategies are the really only place I think that traders should start. Traders start with discretion, and they get chopped up every single time. I've only seen a handful of traders in my lifetime come in and be naturals, right? There are a few people who seem to have a natural skill for it, but again, it's not me, and it's likely not 99% of the people that I'm going to meet. So, you know, analysis paralysis is the thing. If you guys aren't familiar with analysis paralysis, this is when you have so much information about a chart. You're like looking at a chart, you're looking at all these different indicators, and maybe you want to see what this indicator says. Oh, you know, that indicator kind of looks like this. Let me switch it out for this one, throw this indicator on. Oh, well, this one's kind of more bullish, so now I kind of feel like this. Do not go down that rabbit hole. You know, this happened with me yesterday when we were looking at, I can't even remember what chart it was. We were looking at Zcash, I think it was. It might have been Zcash. But anyways, you know, on stream, you guys can go back yesterday and check. But on stream yesterday, I'm watching this chart. I'm looking at it. I did some analysis, and then I switched over to a different template, and I started to feel a different way. And then I looked at the BTC pair, and I said, you know, but it kind of looks like this. And I just stopped myself. I said, all right, listen, I've gone down the route of discretion with this. I'm generally quite good at this, but on this chart, I'm starting to get a little confused and off my square. So what did I do? I go right to my PTP system, and look at what I am mechanically being told to do by the strategy that I've created, right? And that is your home base. That's my home base. That's where individuals should come back to. We're always going to be taking somewhat speculative trades or discretionary trades. Generally, I do as well. Individuals are prone to do this. You need to do it with the correct risk management and with as much strategy and objective rules as possible, but you're going to do them. And you do not, more information does not necessarily mean better decisions, right? Because you can only process so much, and you have to constantly question whether this is actionable information or not. So ultimately, you're going to have to make a decision, and you're going to have to trust your decision. The one great trait that I can tell you this, I can tell you that this is a good trait to have in the markets, is confidence in yourself, right? Not second guessing yourself, not hemming and hawing about a position and fretting about it. Like, you just put the trade on and walk away. Just have confidence in yourself. And if it's a losing trade, identify what made you put the trade on and see if that is a pattern over time that you can eradicate from your trading. And if it's not, then it's just a losing trade, and you're going to have losing trades. And you need to be confident about that. You need to be confident, not that your trade is going to be a winner, but that you have the ability to do this. And if you don't yet have that ability, that you are in the process of earning it, right? But if you stare at the charts, if you approach the financial markets feeling unworthy, unqualified, unprepared, then you are, and you're most likely not going to make money. So, pro tip. Little things, right? Even on my worst days, I'm killing it, right? I've been doing this stream for almost like 3 years. And if I ever feel down, I just look at that because I'm not perfect. I have down days. Anyways, moving on. Bitcoin, USD, looking at a pathways to profit system. A pathways to profit structure is something that we teach in our online trading academy. This teaches individuals how to build objective strategies that signal when to enter and exit markets, as well as take other actions as well with a comprehensive risk management system. So looking at our indicators here, these are all public indicators on TradingView, by the way. And again, while this is quite a good PTP structure, I want individuals to see kind of the robust nature, not only of indicators, but just the options that are out there, the selections that are out there, what you guys can build if you guys want. There's nothing magical about this in a sec, but there it is. Why is it on a nameplate? Man, I don't know, bro. That's how they sold it. I'm not gonna lie. I bought that at the local pharmacy, right? Like small town, small pharmacy. It's cool. Boris says, stonks. The sell-off this morning was catalyzed by the S&P tagging its previous all-time high and then selling off along with gold and silver, pretty much all at the same time. Any thoughts on this kind of price action and how these assets are interconnected? So, yeah, so when I saw the ES this morning, before I had to leave the office for a few hours this morning, but when I was looking at the ES, it looked like it was tracking Bitcoin's price, or vice versa, right? Good correlation between the S&P, although the correlation coefficient has fallen off a little bit over the last few weeks. But gold and Bitcoin are very, very correlated. So I was talking about this. Like, I was talking yesterday about a potential market sell-off coming at the end of August, beginning of September, and barring that, if that doesn't occur with the second wave of stimulus that we're going to see in the next round of quantitative easing, which is coming right around the corner, it's going to happen. If not, then the elections, right? Both of those situations have the ability to be kind of market killers, like similar to what we saw with coronavirus, maybe worse, maybe not as bad, but certainly a market correction. It seems to me that what you're saying is likely. Like, I don't recall it going down exactly like that, because I was tracking the ES as price was evolving, and it seemed to me. Let's just go look at the ES futures here. Yeah, so here, like, if we look at the ES futures here on the daily, like the S&P mini futures are still bullish. We haven't rejected. We haven't sold off on the ES futures. Now, I don't pay for that like 10 minutes to be up to hyper time, so it's possible that I'm missing something here. Yeah, I mean, I think we're talking about quite a lag, because traders, like, generally, when the SPY, when the equities markets are kind of in charge of what Bitcoin's doing, we see it happen very quickly. And in fact, sometimes presaged on the cryptocurrency markets, as if, traders or firms or desks are taking positions on the ES, but they can't do that as quickly. And they can take the positions in cryptocurrency much faster, which makes a lot of sense. Cryptocurrency markets are easier to access. We have I don't want to say more liquid markets, but easier access for a retail trader, right? Certainly less capital required up front for the majority of these for the majority of these asset classes. But the SPY does not look bearish to me here, right? Yeah, I don't see this. I don't see the rejection from the S&P, and I don't really believe that that is what caused this in Bitcoin. As I said, we're going to be talking about Chainlink later on, and while I don't have the biggest accurate reason for why the market decided to put in a red candle, I will say this is not so much of a big deal. We haven't broken any low. We haven't we haven't broken through a level of support even. Like, we've come down to support and currently have bounced off of it. I added to my position on the retest of that support, my long position. So I'm still in a decent way is above my average entry for the Bitcoin leverage longs that I do now have. And let's see, one yesterday, and then earlier before Bitcoin actually broke to the upside and we got that long signal. As I said, it was last week, and we talked about, I talked about putting on a 30% hedge, but we did not close below the level that I wanted to see. In fact, we rallied and closed above the upper level, so I put on a 30% long. So I'm still holding that position, and then I added to my position last night. We did put out continuation signals because we did get one on this particular PTP structure, and the other analysts agreed when we got together for our signals yesterday. We took about 4 positions to the upside, but yeah, this is not a big red candle. Like, I certainly understand the concern. People see us form a new swing high and they expect price to just cater right on off. But so far, all we see from a technical perspective on Bitcoin is a break of resistance, and right now, actually kind of a godsend, which is a pullback to a previous level of support, the level that we broke out from, and an opportunity for reentry. You know, that's all we really see from a perspective. I cannot, and you cannot, and nobody can, tell you with 100% accuracy if this is a market reversal or not. I mean, it certainly could be, but there's no signs that would confirm that. You know, if you want confirmation, if you want, pseudo confirmation, if you want to have a good probability that this is a reversal, then you either need to have a reversal indicator or an exit indicator, which mine is not firing, so I would say no. Or you need to have some basic objective metrics for what is, hey, this is a sell-off, the market's likely to keep going down, it's time to get your short on. For me, that's breaking the baseline, or even if you have no PTP elements on your chart, you could say, okay, well, maybe if we start forming, if we form a lower low, or if we form a lower high, that's basic market structure, right? Like, as I've said, basic price action market structure theory is if you're forming higher highs and higher lows, you're in a bullish trend. If you're forming a combination of those two, as in lower highs but higher lows, you're in consolidation, right? Or higher highs and so if you've got those mixed up somehow, obviously you guys can see when you're putting in a higher low and then a lower high and then maybe a higher high but then a lower low, like, that's consolidation. And when you're putting in lower lows and lower highs, that's a bearish trend. So we don't see that yet, and it's going to take some time. People don't like being patient. That's fine. But if you're concerned about the current trend of Bitcoin, I would go to the weekly chart, which we'll go to in a second. It looks fantastic, by the way. Still green, I think, by the last time I checked. But anyways, PTP is not signaling to do anything here. We received a continuation signal yesterday, and so my stance on this has to be, from a technical perspective, that if you did not take that signal yesterday, that you should take the opportunity to buy the pullback to support. So let's kind of zoom in here over the next few charts and look at that. But here we are on the daily. What we've done so far is we have formed a higher low here, a higher low here. We've formed a higher high here. We had, again, a little bit of brief consolidation for about a week here, and then finally breaking and forming a new swing high on BTC's price action. And I felt that it was more likely, like I think many people did, that we were just going to shoot to 14K. There was quite a bit of bullish sentiment, so it could be, it is possible that we end up getting a more pronounced sell-off here, simply because too many people got bullish. And while that is what we want to see for kind of an explosive movement up, we're going to need that phone. Everybody talks about, hey, you got to be careful, like when everybody's super bullish and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, you need to be worried about that at a certain point. But at the same time, if you're positioned when that kicks in at the right moment, that's how you get to ride Bitcoin from 10K to 20K, right? That's how you get to ride Chainlink from 16 to 20. Like, for example, like that's the time when you get those explosive blow off gains, right? To be worried that it's going to happen, like, I understand being cautious and concerned about the end of a market cycle coming, but you have to balance being conservative with risk to reward, right? So anyways, no exit signal from IFT RSI. The MACD leader is bullish, the OBV is bullish, and QQE mod is bullish. No signal today, just an opportunity for re-entry, and we'll see that when we go to the lower time frames. All right, let's look at what the Donchian system is signaling as well. Here's another potential PTP structure. We actually didn't get our continuation long out of this area as the QQE mod system did. All right. Philly Carr says 30% long, the Viagra trade, opportunity for re-entry. Man, talk dirty to me. Patrick said, am I missing something? Coinbase added a fee on limit orders in Coinbase Pro. Yes, they did that. Yes, they did do that. Yep. No free times over there on Coinbase no more. But you still get to withdraw for free, deposit for free, so it's not too bad. But yeah, the fees suck on Coinbase. I mean, every time I go over there, it seems like I pay a $50 fee. Boris Bitcoin says, sorry to clarify, I was talking about the lower time frames this morning. SPY tagged its all-time high, sold off briefly. Now it's recovered along with everything else. Still looks bullish to me when zooming out. Yeah, I think the SPY is pretty bullish. S180XT seems that the pump and dump on Bitcoin was low volume. Yep, another sign that it's not really a confirmed or important movement. Just sometimes we get green candles, sometimes we get red candles. They're not always important. Darren thinks everything is healthy. Sean loved it when the SXP nosedived initially. Can't wait to get back into waves again. I see that Mastache is upset about the limit fee orders, limit fees on Coinbase Pro. YY asks about KSM. I'll take a look at that in a second, my friend. Yeah, so no, as we can see here, sorry guys. As we can see here, we have time transformation actually crossing down on this candle, not giving an exit signal. But remember, when we're in bullish markets, I find that the TT exit signals tend to be a little sensitive, but they do get you out at fantastic points, right? Statistically likely points. For crypto, or for Bitcoin anyways, they can be a little sensitive. The best exit signal that I like, if I'm in a good trend on Bitcoin, as I've experienced now over 3 market cycles, is when TT crosses below 0. That's a fantastic, the trend is over exit signal. But again, there are, as with the QQE system, there are better exit indicators out there. But it's a fantastic initiator. I will say this. I've not found, TT is it's just one of the best indicators that I've built. So many people use it as an initiator. And it's also, it was built and designed and fantastic for multi-time frame scalping. That's what it was designed to do. And it's really, really good at that. The ISIS spot that I'm working on is better, I'm not going to lie, but this one's good. It's my baby. Yeah, we don't get any objective signal. The trend is still bullish. We need to close below 11,383 to be bearish here. And over here, it's actually 10,617. So I talked about that. We already talked about that. We have these strategies in the event. I'm going to get more comfortable, guys. In the event that Bitcoin corrects a little bit more seriously and actually does end up selling down from here, then we're going to be looking for 2 potential types of setups. One is called a reversal within the trend. This is when we are in a bullish trend and we get a reversal signal. This will often occur with something akin to oversold conditions. So if you're just simply using something like the RSI or MACD, like very basic newbie indicators, then what you can do is you can wait for something like the RSI to be oversold or for the MACD to be below the 0 line and then cross to the upside, something like that. That would be a reversal within the trend signal. The other setup that I'd like to be looking for, and that I always am actively looking for on Bitcoin, is a reversal baseline bounce. That is when we come down to our baseline of choice. We have identified that our baseline is one that acts as a dynamic level of support and resistance, or as the median of the trend, and we buy pullbacks to that level. With reversals within the trend, probably the most popular indicators for these that we have is bottom feeder, one of our proprietary indicators that calls bottoms specifically for BTC, but does well on other charts also. Time transformation and Minx, both are very good at calling these types of signals and setups, so we'd be watching for that. On a time frame as low as the hourly is the level of aggression that I would be looking at here. So let's go look at the roadmap chart of Bitcoin, get a good picture of where we're at. Again, as I said yesterday, we did successfully break above the consolidation range that we've kind of been in for, and it's not even really that impressive of consolidation range, but certainly overall price did move sideways. I want to point out the diminishing weakness of the sell side power here, right? And the strength of the bulls. So we have our first large sell-off candle come in on the 2nd of August, and price just mounts right back up. We have a second significant sell-side candle on the 11th, and we have one we could argue today, and successively smaller each time. It does look like the bears are getting weaker, and they are taking opportunistic times to take profit. Hey, I think it's a good place to take profit on Bitcoin. If you've been holding Bitcoin for a long time, if you bought it 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10, it doesn't really matter. This is not a bad place to pull off some profit, right? And this goes, and I'm talking about like long-term positions, although I do think that Bitcoin is going to see a new all-time high within the next 12 months, and I think that we're likely, you know, I don't like to put the numbers on it. Like, I think it's very, very likely, probable that we see 6 figures in the next 5 years, but I'm not married to that. I trade the charts. All I know is that Bitcoin is a fundamentally valuable thing to hold, and that's why I hold it. And that's why I'm comfortable getting paid in it, because I am patient enough to wait for that investment to pay off. You got to believe, man. You got to believe. You got to buy things that you understand, and you got to buy things that you believe in. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to hold them, right? You are weaker than you think. Sean has been my 2 plays lately, scalping on and off. Alex in the chat, good to see my friend over there on Twitch. Ali says, can you please talk about how to put on a trailing stop loss and a TPL? I assume by that you mean a trailing take profit when you are in huge gains like 80%. Well, it depends on what. Yeah, Midwest says it very well here. It says it really depends on what, platform you're working with. Like, for example, BitMEX has the ability to put on a trailing stop loss, but I don't like BitMEX. Binance does not. Bybit does not have a built-in trailing stop loss feature. If you're utilizing 3 commas, then it's very simple. With their smart trade terminal, you can simply set the value of the trailing stop loss that you want to set at any time. You just edit your open position. And you can set with 3 commas trailing take profit. What you can do is you can set, you can split up your take profits. And for the last take profit, you can say, okay, instead of selling here, what I want price to do is I want to put on a trailing take profit at this level, which basically is just a trailing stop loss. But let's say you entered a position at $5 and your final take profit was at 10. And you set a trailing take profit for $1. Well, once price hits $10, you don't sell. You set a trailing take profit order, trailing market order stop market order at $9. So $1 below current price. And as price moves up, like that trailing take profit will move with it. It won't move down as price moves down, just up as price moves up. So if you get a huge blow off top, then you're going to sell at a much more optimum price. I love using trailing take profits. I use them on almost every trade that I set up with 3 commas. I use stop loss timeout on every single trade, usually for 2 or 3 hours, because I don't like getting wicked out. So yeah, it depends on the platform that you utilize. And he says, let's say I sold 50% of my position on ATR 1, 2, and 3, and I have the rest of a position sitting with 80% unrealized ROI. What I would do is I would set a trailing stop loss. If you think the trend is intact and you don't think that you see a reversal, I would set a trailing stop loss equivalent to 1.5 ATR. I think that's a good number. That's a fairly aggressive number, but that's default stock PTP. And if you want the real like trend following traders, like Turtle strategy, like hardcore classic trend following systems, it's 3.5 ATR, right? So 2.5 somewhere in the middle. And in fact, if you guys have been with us for a while, you'll recall that I would say probably more in 2018, I used to highlight like utilizing the ATR for a lot of things beyond what I just do now with Quadriga, because it's bread and butter and it works. It's very effective and it extracts a lot of money from the market. But we used to measure, like places to enter into bottoms and how to measure for entry zones, all of that with ATR. So a lot you can do. Yeah, no problem, man. And if you need some specific help, like just feel free to ask in the Discord. As I said, it's going to depend on the exchange that you use as far as like how you physically put it on, but 3 commas makes things relatively easy. All right. Yeah. So where would be a logical retest if we're looking for an area to enter long? Well, I think it's probably the area that we entered long in as a group. Well, I shouldn't say that. I posted in the members lounge when we were at these lows that I had added to my Bitcoin long position, which I did. It's a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity. This will make a little bit, this should make sense from looking at the chart. Here we have resistance. or we reject from an area forming resistance. We retest that resistance here, not too much. We do try to sweep it here, but reject. And then we finally break above on this candle, forming a swing high. And where does price sell off to? Where does the wick stop? Yeah, right about that level. So liquidity there, good BPC, break, pullback, continuation setup. I talk about this in our horizontal support and resistance tutorial in the Online Trading Academy as well. But if you guys want to see the trend, go to the weekly. The weekly looks strong. It's good. It's currently a weekly doji, but it's Tuesday. So it does not really do us a lot of favors to get too critical about the current weekly candle. We want more data. We want to see it closer to the weekly close. But this is a good looking chart. You do not want to be jumping at every shadow. Looking at Bitcoin dominance, we did put in a pretty decent day yesterday, and we saw a pullback in altcoins. I think that my thesis yesterday, my theory yesterday, which I'll still be true to my yesterday self, was that we are going to see a little bit of a rise here in BTC dominance, which we did see. This might be it, could be more. I think I would prefer to see one or two more green candles. That would feel more right to me. But we formed a new swing low. The trend is bearish here on BTC dominance, so the money is still flowing in altcoins. And I said yesterday, you can either aggressively sell off your altcoins and buy back at a slightly cheaper price. Seems like you had that opportunity today. Or you can hold through the melee, because I do not see signs of a market reversal. They're very hard to see on one red candle. So I want to just, sorry if I seem a little flippant, but I just saw so many people today, this morning talk, like just either didn't know what to do, didn't know how to think about the market, or were severely questioning all of their positions, their investments, for the love of God. And I'm like, wow, like Chainlink gets sold into and you guys lose your minds. Like, just relax. We need objective data, facts. Where's the reversal? Show me. There's nothing to see. Now let's go down and look at the hourly. We'll look for justifications for my entry. We have quite a few. One thing, I was a little bit more aggressively bullish, like watching this stair step down. I don't like to commit to, again, my trading has more to do with my strategy and my ability to craft and create than an individual trade has to do with me as an individual. I really don't have a whole lot to say. I look at objective facts. I take objective setups. I trade what's in my wheelhouse, and that is how I'm successful. I don't need to follow the crowd. I don't need to be what the crowd's in. Like, DeFi has been something that has largely not been my wheelhouse, not been my strategy. I'm more conservative than that. I have a very good edge grinding out alts on Binance and Bybit and BitMEX. I used to, but now FTX. And yeah, we make good money doing that consistently, and I've been doing it for years. There's a few coins that I've played with. Okay, let's it did completely pass me by, but yeah, DeFi is something that's interesting, and I know that's very popular. But what you need is an edge, right? What I advocate that you get and focus on is an edge, like a provable edge in the market, right? Something that you can exploit over and over and over again that leads to a higher probability of profit than loss. And you can objectively test that historically to have a good thesis for applying this strategy to the market live now. And then you collect live data as you move forward. You have to keep a trading journal. So let's look at some of the setup entries here. So we have kind of the hourly time frame indicators here that I like to use. We have the first thing I'll highlight is, of course, this hourly representation of the consolidation of Bitcoin prior to these 3 hours that it took us to pump up last night to the higher 12,000s. Not breaking down, but breaking up. And we see this like tight, low volatility and low volume sell-off, right? This nice stair stepping down. Now, I expected price to stop right around here. I picked up a little bit of Bitcoin here, only about $1,000 worth. And I was a little surprised to see this big red candle. But once I saw not only CM Williams, VIX start bottoming out here, indicating signs, especially above the standard deviation here, that this was a likely bottom, I can see that based on the size of that red candle and the volume spike. So again, you see big red volume spikes that approach levels of support, generally price bounces. When you creep down towards support, you tend to fall right through. So that's something that I potentially could have identified here. I saw seeing price creep down. And if you kind of zoom out here a little bit, you might develop a bias that that's what normally happens. Here we see a little bit of stair stepping, and then that leads to a more pronounced off. But you know, if you look at more of the chart, you'll see that that's often not the case. Like usually when price stair steps down in a tight formation like that after a big pump, it's bullish, right? It's a pennant or a bull flag or something of that nature, and we break to the upside. Especially when you're in a bull market, things are magnified when you're in a bull market. But the other thing that I wanted to point out here was ISISpot did actually call to sell this top, so we could have listened to ISISpot there. And this will be live. ISISpot will be live for automated trading and signal generation. I don't want to say soon, but like within the next few months. It's not been. It has not been, as you guys know, you guys have been watching. I've been focusing on the the online trading academy and getting all that content up and available for the premium members. It's a lot of work. So that's what I've been utilizing a lot of my time for, and making some new original content, which you guys will be seeing pretty soon. Pretty excited about it. But yeah, I have not been working on programming or indicators for the last few months, switching my attention to the online trading academy and the members. And for the next few months, probably the rest of the year, I would argue, realistically, because there's so much I want to do. There's about 5 indicators that I'm going to be publishing in a frenzy, some new strategies, new strategy testers, just a lot of stuff. So I'm pretty excited about what's coming up for Kraken Crypto. But we see the funding rate, the BitMEX funding and premium index here as well, dip toward the negative. And as we noticed, funding had been extremely high throughout this area, indicating that retail sentiment was to the long side, and most traders were positioned to the long side, likely, which they were. And a lot of them have just gotten stopped out. So it's a good reentry opportunity. Again, we can break through here. We can dip lower. We have strategies and a plan for that. But again, I think the setup on the table is to understand that we're in a bullish market. The trend is bullish, and you have an opportunity to buy a pretty pronounced pullback here on BTC. So we're going to take that opportunity. Let's see here. Somebody is getting Palladium before sunset. That's the best time to get Palladium. Where'd that water go? Is it 12:47? Have I talked about Bitcoin for an hour? Wow. I'm ashamed of myself. All right. Let me see. How are you guys doing in the chat? Let me know what you guys want to talk about, what you guys want to look at. Let's see here. Namanja? Namanja. I'm sorry. Hey guys, what is happening with my advanced trading journal if I go to the basic subscription? I mean, well, while you'll lose access to the template, but if you've been a plus or pro member, and you've made a copy of your advanced trading journal to your drive or downloaded it as an Excel, you'll still have it, of course. You won't receive updates. Like, for example, there's features that we're going to push out for the new advanced trading journal. There's some updates that we want to make. That's one of the things we're circling back to at the end of the year. So if you're a premium basic member at that time, you won't receive those updates. If you were to upgrade for any reason, like later, you would receive all the updates until your higher package ran out or expired. And then if you decided to go back to premium basic, then you would not be privy to updates again. So that's how it works. You get what you currently have, and you can continue to use it. Obviously, you can make new copies of it. And if we push out updates, premium basic members would not receive those updates because they would not normally receive the journal. Premium plus and advanced members would. Good question, man. Tesla split. How do I feel about it? Wally asked me that the other day. I don't really have an opinion on it. I don't really trade Tesla that much. It's not my edge. There's some options plays I could have done, but I'm just not, my whole setup is not set up to capitalize off of that. I've been hyper focused on what my edge is, and I've done really well this year, guys, like really well. I'm excited. I've purchased a new property. I'm going to be moving into there over the course of the next few months. There's some kind of upgrades that I want to do. And closing is not here yet, or closing is at the end of the month. But, I talked about this at length the other day, but the stock split is essentially a marketing opportunity for Elon and Tesla. And it's an opportunity to give more retail traders an opportunity to kind of buy in and pump their bags. Fundamentally, I think Tesla is probably a pretty good company. It seems to be up in the air whether they're actually making significant profit or not. And there are some unanswered questions, I would say. But as far as a tradable speculative asset, I mean, yeah, trading Tesla in the stock. If you're trading stocks and you're not trading Tesla, it's kind of like trading crypto and not trading Link, right? So. And what happens to the stocks being bought out? Well, so for every stock that exists, there is now like this extra stock over here, right? And they're distributed and I'm not exactly sure what the distribution rules are, but there'll be opportunities for individuals to buy. And when you're talking about shares, they are printed by the company that issues them. So the quantity is negotiable. But the way I believe they're doing it is with this. It's a 1-to-1, right? So, or a 5-to-1. I can't remember what it is. I'm sorry, guys. Like I said, I really haven't paid too much attention to it. I just know that, I've read the basics about it. I believe the value of the new stock is significantly less than the current price of Tesla. And it's a relatively cheaper price for retail traders to come in and get a piece of it. And one thing I do like is, for example, what Robinhood's doing, and a lot of other brokers do it too, but the ability to buy fractional shares. That's really important. I think that's one of the reasons that cryptocurrency is so popular. You don't have to buy a whole Bitcoin. You can buy a fraction. But people who come from the stock world are just so used to, you have to buy at least one stock. And that's not always helpful. The blunt edge of Molnir Philly. Yes. Okay. 10-to-1. There you go, Mr. Ether. You got it, bro. Okay. Let's give you guys, take a look. So this is how we're going to take a look at the premium signal service. These are the signals that were issued by the analyst team of Kraken Cryptocurrency. These are positions, trade setups, and signals that we put out as part of our premium signal service, just one of the services that we provide for our members. As we can see, we've taken a few. We do have some drawback on the signals that were issued last night. Overall, the BTC USD trade needs to be updated because, again, we update these when we do our daily scans or relevant for each market time. So when we do ETF daily scans, we update the charts then. And when we update Forex trades, we update it then. So the cryptocurrency trades won't be updated on the sheet until this evening because everybody who's in the group knows the protocol, knows exactly what to do with these trades. There's not a whole lot to do here. The trades that we put on last night haven't hit stop losses. They're currently in that same kind of retracement, and overall, we're up quite a bit. So there's, for me anyways, and I think for most traders who are positioned correctly, all of our traders, for example, you're doing well. You don't need to be worried about what's going to occur in the future. And again, we went from 22% unrealized P&L down to 20% with Bitcoin's pullback, and that's absolutely fine, as well as the current open position. So nothing to be significantly concerned about here. I'm pretty happy with the work of the analysts. So great trades that were issued. Potentially looking at the one BTC. I'd like to see what happens post this retracement because I would prefer to sell on relative highs rather than after a sell-off and in a state of panic. Like the markets are in a state of panic. We can see this with funding dipping down. When the funding goes negative, that is going to indicate that people are trying to short. I don't think this is a good area to short. I could be wrong, but just retail is usually wrong. Opinions on Matic staking. I've never done it. I do. I don't know what you call it. I have Tezos. I've got a pretty decent sized holding of Tezos, and I hold it on my ledger, and I do the whatever you call it, the vesting thing, and I like it. I've held Tezos for quite a while. I've taken some profit on Tezos multiple times. Still hold quite a bit. So, and there's other things that I stake as well. Spectre Security Coin, X42. And don't worry about the future. Justin Wise, 81820. Write that down, man. Well, listen, you cannot. I don't think there's enough objective information. Well, we'll get to Chainlink here in a little bit. Don't you guys jump the gun here. There's not enough, and we went over all the technicals for this. There's no signs of a market reversal. The only, I guess, the most negative news we have is the floods hitting the Sichuan province in China, causing about 25% of the Bitcoin hash rate to go offline. And that's not a big deal. We'll be back when the storm's over. We've been talking about this Three Gorges for a while. Let's see this. Restock. There are public market rules. White book in the UK. For example, if one hits 30%, you must make an offer to take over type thing. Yeah. Mr. Ether correcting himself, saying, I know it doesn't really matter, but I gotta go. Yeah, you go get that food, Tyler. Good to see you, my friend. Thank you for stopping by the live stream. All right, so what do you guys want to look at? Let's get some chart requests. Tell me what you guys want to see on the charts. What we're going to do first while you guys are thinking, we're going to go ahead and look at the crypto bubbles, right? So this is already starting to look better than not. We see the regular suspects are pumping well today. We see Ren up, Yearn Finance, SXP, Theta, which, by the way, I'm going to be looking into streaming on the Theta TV platform. So more information on that. Nano, which Nano was an honorable mention that we called out last night in our market analysis, a potential signal, one we chose not to take. We chose to take other trades. But again, that was the one. That was the special one. And again, I hold Nano as well. So Nano's a good one. Basic attention token doing well, reserve rights, and Zem. So I would put basic attention token and Zem kind of on the outside there, as well as Nano. But SXP, Ren, Yearn Finance, RSR, Theta, this is nothing new. This has been going on for a while. So continuing quite bullish trends. And I'm out of water. Okay. So let's see here. Another lockdown would probably be the catalyst of crypto. Yeah, a catalyst for a sell-off initially, yes. S180XT says, do I think that gold and silver and Bitcoin selling off is a sign traditional indices are strong, getting stronger, so their gold hedges are selling? I mean, that's possible. What I view the gold sell-off as, and as I said yesterday, on gold, I'm very cautiously watching to see if we form a lower high here. If we do, that will be kind of a canary in the coal mine for me to go neutral, to go neutral with regards to risk, and have some, obviously protect myself with hedging. This is how we go neutral, or how I go neutral. But the reason why is because I think that a lot of individuals, significant investors, market movers, moved into gold, positioned into gold, and we're seeing more of them positioned into gold now. If gold doesn't continue to appreciate, if gold forms a lower high and will correct down further to some lower levels that might take a month or two, then I don't want to hold the drawdown for that period of time. I would prefer to be sitting in cash. But the thing is, I see that will be a signal that other investors are doing that as well. And that would be the train I would like to be aboard, the new trend rather than the old trend and hold it in the wrong direction. However, I will say that following a retracement, if it happens, I still think that in the macro, like in the long-term sense, it makes more sense to look for long positions on gold, silver, and Bitcoin, of course, than it does to look for shorts. And as you can see, I'm still not sold on the fact that that has to or is going to happen. Like, there are two kind of time windows that I'm watching for. This is the end of August, the beginning of September, where we have where I anyways have good reason to believe that we're going to see something like a second wave of stimulus checks. The reason why, I mean, there's a lot of reasoning for this, but I think that it is in not only both political parties' best interests to issue these stimulus checks, it's going to be in both parties' best interest to not only issue them to appease the public, give them bread and sport, but also try to take credit for it, because we have a highly contentious election coming up, and both sides want to be seen as the ones that like gave to the people, right? And governments are not there to protect you or help you generally. So it's silly, but Damien, who's took Nano as his Money Monday. Awesome, man. I'm very happy to hear about that. Tesla has a very small balance sheet for an automotive manufacturer, and they're a very small company for a manufacturer. I have no comments, but I will look at Tezos and XRP for Sean Pond, and Tezos obviously as well there for Robert. So let's check Tezos out. Let's see if these bags of mine are getting heavy or not. Tezos USDT. We'll go over and look here on Binance. The 5-minute looks bullish. The daily chart is pulling back with the rest of the USDTs. I expect to see quite a lot of this. Let's take a gander. So we're going to turn off Super Trend first and just get an idea of the roadmap of where we're in. So Tezos has formed, at least on this chart, a new all-time high and is currently pulling back from that. It is trading below its previous high, and we don't really see a significant level of high volume or consolidation until down around here, until we enter kind of the two, what do we want to call this? I'm going to get too sloppy with this. The $2.40 to $3 range. That's a pretty wide range based on the valuations. But again, that's kind of an area of acceptance. If we get accepted into that area, and by the way, acceptance means trading. Like, so price, like there's buying and selling down there, not just a wick that goes down and gets chased right back out by liquidity. But if we actively start trading down in there, that's likely where we're going to hang out for a while. And we do see, again, support there at about 247. But that's a long ways away. The first significant level of support that I see on this chart for a sell-off is somewhere down around $3.30, all the way down to about $3.10. So that would be the area that I would be slightly interested in purchasing Tezos, just from a support and resistance standpoint, if we were to backtrace here a little bit. Just right there. And again, acceptance below this level into these high volume nodes, while that's not a bad thing necessarily. It's not a good thing for like continued bullish growth to the upside. Let's see here. We rebounded really good from the March meltdown, corrected off of this level of hopefully what acts as support, which once was resistance. Consolidated there for a little bit and pushed to the upside. So we formed a new all-time high, and we are having a pullback. Again, I am unconvinced. I don't see the evidence that a market reversal, a market-wide reversal is occurring. A lot of these things are okay. It's okay. Eventually, the market is going to put in tops. It's going to pull back. It's going to form new lows. And then ideally, the bullish trend continues. So just need to be patient, sit on your hands, either wait for your right entry or wait for the time to move. So I'm not going to be selling my Tezos here. Again, I've been taking profit on the way up. And that's the strategy. Again, I don't think that peeling off some profit here on Tezos, if you haven't taken any, is a bad idea. Certainly no. We're near a new high. It would be ridiculous of me to suggest that this isn't a decent place to take profit. So if you need to lock in some profit on your Tezos holdings, this is a good place to do it, because nobody knows. Like, there's not a single person out there, and I'm just honest with you guys. I think that's why you guys come here. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I make money consistently in the market, and I don't know, and I'm comfortable with not knowing, because that's real trading. We don't know if there's going to be, a significant reversal tomorrow, if this is going to carry on, or if we're going to get green candles tomorrow. It is statistically more likely that we get continuation of a bullish trend on most of these assets following a retracement, because we're in a bull market, and there's a lot of reasons. We don't see a massive, we just don't see a lot of the fundamental signs that would kind of presage a sell-off. One where I would be more akin to be more conservative, more bearish. I'm becoming more aggressive. And oddly enough, on a day when most people are getting more scared. So if that tells you anything. But anyways, I don't see an entry opportunity here on Tezos unless, so our baseline's way down there at 286. The Hall 60 might be more appropriate for this, but we do have OBV dipping into the negative territory. So sell side volume here is actually at least bulky, and we are going to be getting an IFT RSI exit signal, it seems. Not today, but perhaps tomorrow. So watch for that. Overall, the only setups that I really see here are attempting to watch for a reaction. You don't just want to blindly buy support, but see if we do find some support around the 320 to 310 area, maybe even a little bit higher, maybe up to 330, but that area right there, if we do pull back that far, that would be the first area that I'd be watching for a pullback and an optimum entry and area to enter. Failing that, around the 280, 290 mark, upper twos would be okay. But if we close below 286, if we close below the baseline, I would have to, by nature, begin to start looking for shorts on XTZ and consider the trend run at that point in time. But right now, I'd say this looks healthy. Retracement here is likely after forming a new all-time high, and then hopefully we get some nice continuation. But you have to watch for that reaction. You have to watch for the setup. If you're holding Tezos for the long term, like I am, taking profit here is fine. Lock in something that you need, maybe perhaps your initial investment if you've done well enough, and then let your position run. It depends on how you want to trade it. Positionally, swing, or an investment. Investment, you don't really want to sell. There's no such thing as locking in profit on an investment, at least in my book. That's how I trade. But let's see here. Peckham says, did I go see Trump today in Iowa? I did not. Listen, it would be kind of cool, I guess, but I'm good, man. I got stuff to do. Peckham 08 now owns 10 NKLA and 10 NIO. Next up, WKHS, Money Monday. Blue Box Territory wants to look at Bitcoin Cash. I was interested in the Bitcoin Cash chart last night, so let's take a check. Let's take a look. Jordan Slot says, stimulus check, buying dual fuel inverter generator in ADA. Nice. Good choice, man. Definitely wire your generator correctly, because did I have fun with that this week. Quite a bit, Philly says, is like Washington State size for Mr. Wise. Raju Suba says no. Philly Carr says, can you trade water futures? Yeah, but I'm not sure where. I know that guy from The Big Short, like, that's all he does now is trade water something, but let's see. Alex says, I was told that OBV dipping negative doesn't mean shit. You're absolutely right. It does not mean shit for exiting a position. It's not an exit signal. So for example, in PTP, if your confirmer or initiator turn against you, that is an exit signal. That's an early exit. If you're if your volume indicator does, it doesn't matter. It's not an exit signal, and it's also not necessary for confirmation for a continuation trade. However, we can note that OBV has dipped negative, so one of our indicators has turned negative. If we're in an active position, it's no reason to do anything. Something to note, for sure. Peckham says, just run the chart. Bitcoin hourly USDT, Binance rising wedge. Gold and silver selling off as Phillies out for dinner this evening. Can we see Zag? XRP is going to blow. BCH USDT in the face. Check Tesla market cap versus Toyota. Again, no, don't really care about Tesla. How am I feeling about the Len pullback? Haven't looked at the Aave chart. Aave is incredibly bullish, or has been. So that momentum, right? Momentum. It depends on the strength of the momentum. Like, again, very similar like with Tezos. Tezos has been performing quite well. We've got a new all-time high. A little bit of a sell-off, pullback, profit taking here makes sense. I would still remain bullish on Tezos until somebody can show me a reason why I shouldn't be. But let's look at XRP here. XRP was looking good last night. I haven't had a good chance to take a strong look at it, so let's take a look. Yeah, just a moderate retracement, very much like Bitcoin. Hasn't broken its low here. I'm not really concerned. If XRP gets down to 28 cents, I'll have to reevaluate the position. But right now, I am long on XRP. We're in a bullish trend. We got a good continuation signal here. Everything's fine. Yeah, everything's good. The one thing I'd have to be watching here for this particular system is the MACD crossing below the zero line there. We were already kind of pushing it, so it's possible we get punked out of this trade, but if we get an alley-oop tomorrow and another green candle, then we'll just be out at break even. So, yeah, I think that XRP looks good. I think it looks, as much as it pains me to say, I think that XRP looks strong here. Yeah, it's David Lopez makes a good point. If BTC USD pulls back and continues to pull back, then all of the USD pairs, with maybe 3 exceptions, you get 3, are going to pull back with it. And then when Bitcoin starts moving up, guess what? The USD pairs are going to move up. It's almost as if you look at the chart and see a green day for Bitcoin, you're going to see green days for almost all USDT pairs. It's like there's a correlation here. Grab the pitchforks. Let's see. Again, Doge pulling back a little bit as well. Dent pulling back a little bit. I really liked all of these last night. They all look strong. They are all strong. But again, just a pullback day. Some days you're going to enter on pullback. Some days you're going to enter at the bottom. It happens. Who else? There was. Oh, you wanted to look at the silver gold ratio. Let's take a moment and let's go look at. Let's take a break from crypto for just a second. We'll come back to here. We'll come back in just a minute because I want to look at Link in particular. Because that's kind of the news of the day. And let's go look at traditional markets just for a second. The first thing I want to look at is our CFDs, sorry. And let's go look at gold. And again, I made my opinion on gold pretty strong. I am holding gold. I'm a gold investor, so I don't plan to sell gold. I think gold is hard money, just like Bitcoin is. Bitcoin has the potential to be the best form of hard money that we've ever seen, in my opinion. So what I'm watching for, though, on gold is to see if we form a lower high. We have, with that sell-off, it was very significant. We can't ignore it. We can't ignore that volume, right? So this is something that I paid attention to and am watching. And because it was so significant to me, I am watching to see if we form a lower high. If we form a lower high, I'm going to be slightly concerned. Let's put it that way. For risk on markets. One of two things can happen. Either the common narrative that like equities are going to tear and maybe they'll drag Bitcoin up while gold corrects here. Probably not likely while gold and Bitcoin are at all-time high correlation. So Bitcoin would likely sell off with gold if equities continue to push. But again, hard, very, very hard to predict that. Very hard to predict that. I don't know. I don't think anybody does exactly how that will play out. If Bitcoin will follow equities or if Bitcoin would follow gold. But I'm watching to see if we form a lower high. If we do, I'll begin adopting a little bit of a risk-off sentiment. I'm looking to protect myself above all and lock in all the profit that I've made in this bullish cycle. Right now, it's easy come, easy go. Palladium, I'm still pretty conservative on Palladium. I don't really like the look of this chart. Kind of this sideways W pattern breakout here is possible, but we formed 3 lower highs. So unless we're going to reverse 3 drives here, I don't like this chart. We are in a bullish trend though, so upside trades are what to be looking for, but I need to see some sort of objective signal. And silver, again, as I said, I think silver is incredibly bullish here. You know, we pulled back, stayed above the baseline, remained kept the bullish trend. And I think silver can break out here, you know, regardless of what gold does. Silver has a little bit more going on for it. How much do you think I could make if I 100x long XRP and at 1000x's? Do the math, man. I mean, like 10 Big Macs and you know, like an appearance on KCWI for sure, man. I don't know. Most people who win the lottery like end up miserable 5 years later. You know, it's like the unsexy side of trading. Like I tell people, like they come and they're like, hey, I want to learn to trade like you do. I want to extract profit consistently from the market. I'm like, bet, cool. It's a really awesome job. You get to set your own hours. You only really have to work for about an hour a day if you want to. And you get to make enough money to provide a good life for your family and like kind of do whatever the hell you want. Like you are your own boss. It's a really awesome lifestyle. They're like, great, that's what I want. I'm like, cool. All right, do this, 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 and this. And then, you know, eventually they're like, hey, like, all right, when are we going to get those like 100x gains? I'm like, no, we don't really like do that. We do this other thing that like, you know, consistently makes money out of the market. And they're like, oh, but I wanted like the mind-blowing gains. I'm like, yeah, no, like, you know, we do good. And like the more capital, if you want to make more money, like just go create a fund or get people to loan you money or maybe go work for a prop desk. There's lots of ways to like maximize, you know, lever up your capital. But we focus on trading well and just making a good living and having fun, living a life of independence and freedom, beholden to no one. And I think that's really going to be important moving forward. There are so many potential, I don't know, just changes that the world can go through over the next like 5, 10, 15 years that are going to happen in my lifetime. Like as I am in my prime and, you know, as a lot of you guys are just in the right place at the right time, right? To see potential transition, significant global transition. And the last place you want to be, if we have to deal with that, if we're going to go through that together, is, you know, like stuck, like worrying about money or, you know, jobs or have, you know, not having the freedom to like be mobile, right? If you need to be, right? I certainly think it's good to be positioned and be grounded and have a home base. That's step one. But we've got things coming up that kind of transcend, you know, what we were taught to think, or what we were taught to plan out for our futures, right? We got to kind of plan out for more. And you can choose to do that. You can choose to be on top of that and be prepared and have a plan and have a strategy and be prepared to do well in that environment of transition yourself and for your family. Or, you know, you can not be. And I think a lot of individuals are going to be powerless, right? And I made a decision when I was young to not be powerless. I want to be in charge of my own future. As much as I can be. Can I have a piece of that? David Rice says, yes. Premium.cryptocurrency.com, man. Join the revolution. I will live well with being a rich, unhappy person. You know, if anybody could, it's you. Somebody says this channel's been hacked. Yeah, I mean, try. Let's see here. Jake Rezio says, hey, y'all, I'm late, but Polkadot just started staking on Kraken for 12%. My dear Lord. York says, isn't that lottery statistic overclouded by the type of person that plays the lottery and not necessarily based off the money? It's just that they call the lottery the idiot tax for a reason. I mean, I don't know, right? Like, it's possible that, I'm trying to think of like something clever here. Because you started off your proposition with an isn't, right? So I'm now forced to either accept or deny your proposal, which is not the position of strength in a conversation. You could have just said like, hey, is it possible that this? That's a much less aggressive way to say it. Come on, York, coming at me like that. Yeah, I mean, listen, in general, I think that this comes down to like critical thinking and time frame preference, right? So I do not play the lottery. I am not interested in scratch off tickets. I'm not interested in any, like, so I get probably like 100 emails a day. And a good chunk of those are going to be, for example, like, hey, can I come on the show? Hey, will you show my product on your show? hey, will you show my coin on your show? Hey, you want to do this partnership? Hey, you know, we can make you all this money. Hey, you know, like, you know, 100x gain. Hey, this coin just launched. Hey, this ICO. Hey, 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 hey. And it's just so much noise, man. Just everybody's out there trying to hustle and grind. And there's a part of me that, of course, I respect that. And that's what I do too. And that's what everybody needs to do to a degree. But yeah, it's exhausting sometimes. So what I know, though, is the reason I'm not interested in any of those things, and it's not that maybe these projects are good or bad, it's that I know that there's no such thing as quick, easy money. And I know that if I get quick, easy money, I'm not going to deserve it, right? You don't get to get things for free. You do have to deserve it. You have to do the work. You have to be worthy of that moment when you're put in that position, right? To make the good, responsible financial decision, because your decisions don't just affect you; they affect other people, particularly if you have a family or those who depend on you. So, I believe in that, you know, and I've drilled that into my head. Like, I have to do the work, I have to earn what I get, and I have to feel good about it. And I really enjoy like the strategy that I've developed to come up with that. And so lottery tickets to me, like, yes. So and this is my same thing with altcoins or like gains or high speculation or really aggressive trading. Like, yes, you could make a lot of money, but it just does not seem worth it to me, because you can just put in the work and get the results, or you can just, like, you know, hope, like, pray, like, you know, people will say, well, you know, good luck. And it's like, well, how about you just challenge me to be good? You know, like, maybe you could be like, hey, maybe wake up, you know, try this. The next time you're going to tell a buddy, like, good luck, you know, people just say it, good luck, it's vernacular. Instead, try to change your wording to, hey, buddy, maybe you should wake up an hour early tomorrow and do more push-ups. I don't know, challenge people, right? Challenge people. I'm teasing you, by the way, on the way you worded it, Yorick. I didn't really take it as aggressive. I did. I'm seething about it, dude. We're gonna talk in DM. No. I don't know if I explained it as well as I'd like to, but I really do firmly believe that it's true. Like, I can see it in my own life. I see it manifest in everything that I do. I see it is true of all of my friends. You know, true of people I meet. Right, the people who actively look for, or not even actively look for, but are willing to take advantage of the shortcut, the easy way, the road most often traveled. Like, they do not have, and I don't care, because people always talk about, it's kind of like the temptation of the devil, right? People always talk about, you know, well, you know, but look, like, they have this, and this. And I'm like, right, but you got to zoom out, man. Like, you got to zoom out and look at how somebody lives their life. Look at how they go to bed at night. Look at, you know, how they feel about themselves. Look at the activities that they get to engage in, their level of freedom. It's not, you got to zoom out. You got to zoom out. And I've certainly chosen a life of work and fulfillment than easy gains. And that's, and I have not yet met a person who is more happier that does that than taking the easy route. Everybody I know who takes the easy route, like, has a shit life. Seriously. And that's most people. Most people are walking around not prepared to put in the work, you know, because we don't have a lot of incentive to do that. We don't teach people to do that. Anyways, rambling. So yeah, lottery, bad news. Don't play it. It's bad. 12%. Yeah, so Alex says, that's true, Jake, but the problem with staking altcoins is that in 3 years, they'll be down 85% again while you hold them. Oh my God, is there no faith in here? And yes, Adachi, let's get 100 likes. Shout out to you, my friend. Spectre Security Coin is in the house. Wook Chewy says, I once bought a lotto ticket and won a free lotto ticket. Pretty sure my lotto games stopped there. Listen, by the way, if anybody out here plays the lottery, I'm not coming at you. And if you win money, or if you have a come up, like, congratulations, like, take advantage of it. You know, always assume that you earned it through, you know, karma or good deeds or whatever, right? But there's a huge difference between that and what I see a lot of people do, which is just, you know, fail to put in the work because they somehow secretly think that they are going to get another come up. And you can't depend on those things, because if you're depending on it, you likely don't deserve it, right? because those things tend to come when you least expect them. That's because you deserve them. Anyways, I didn't really see any CFDs. Of course, I took some... Look, I'm long on natural gas. This was a strong continuation signal. So there are actually quite a few interesting CFD trades going on. Some like commodities right now are really interesting to me, like soybeans, for example, just tearing it up. Now, I do want to be long on soybeans here, but it was the wrong place. And I did have... I am long on soybeans indirectly because I have agricultural exposure on the ETF side. So I am long... FUD and I can't think of the name of DBA. So I did get my agricultural exposure in. Jake Rezio says, looks guys, let's be positive about my staking. And also, Justin, that's not true. I know many people who are making money, more money not working than working. So money can be free. Yeah, money's not everything, man. That's certainly my point. I'll leave it at that. You kind of take what you want from what I said, my friend. And I'm positive about your staking. Yeah. Can I go over my current BTC trading system indicators? OBV, OS, MACL, QQE, IFT, RSI. I certainly can. You know, it's relatively straightforward. There's not a lot of bips and bobs. A lot of it would, you know, the main point is understanding how a PTP system fits together, understanding how we do certain things, like where do we look for primary entries? Where do we look for continuation entries? How do we manage our risk? Where do we set our stops? How do we take profit? What markets do we trade? What time of day do we trade? You know, what is our goals? What monthly P&L are we trying to hold? At what point do we take a break for a week? At what point do we take a break for a month? You know, what markets do we trade? What exchanges do we trade on? Like those are kind of the more critical things, but specifically it's relatively easy. QQE mod here acts as an initiator. When the blue line, when the blue line crosses the white line in conjunction with the white line being above the zero line, which by the way, the blue line will never cross the white line if the white line is not above the zero line. So MACD acts as a confirmer. This confirms trades. It confirms trend direction. So when the MACD is above the zero line here, it acts as a centered oscillator signal. When we're above zero, that is confirming bullish trades. Below zero, it's confirming bearish trades. OBV oscillator by Lazy Bear gives us an insight into volume. Is money pouring into the market or out of the market? If we're above the zero line here as a centered oscillator signal, green indicates bullishness. Red indicates bearishness. IFT RSI is an exit indicator. When IFT RSI is overbought, above the red threshold, crosses below, that is a signal to exit long trades. When it is below the green threshold and crosses back above or recovering from oversold, that is a signal to exit short trades. And the super trend 1.0 buy or sell signals indicator on TradingView acts as a baseline. Pretty simple. And yes, I feel that this, not that I feel, like, yes, objectively, the results for this strategy are better than the Hall 60. Yeah, the Hall 60 is quite sensitive. It works well, particularly in periods of consolidation. But this has been a little bit more clear, certainly for this bullish environment that we're in. And again, I don't think that people should hop and switch strategies willy-nilly. This was something that I wanted to transition to. And what I'll likely be doing, what I'm going to be doing, is showcasing different indicator combinations on the stream. It's, you know, one of the things that I didn't like is that a lot of individuals just came in and they decided, they're like, we're just going to use the indicators that Justin uses. Like, that's great. You guys don't get to see every action that I take, right? I'm a verify, don't trust kind of guy. And I want you, what I want to teach you guys is not the indicator to use. I want to teach you how to use indicators and the mindset of strategy creation. Because if you develop that mindset, and the best way to do it is with something that's formalized, which is why we have PTP, so you guys can go through something that's more formal and teach you how to do it. You will begin to look at strategy in every aspect of your life. In trading, you will develop strategies all over the place. So for example, once upon a time, I used to say things like, I like this chart. I think I could take this to this. And I just like kind of pick out a level like support or resistance or some pattern. And I draw an arbitrary triangle. I'd be like, well, this kind of looks like this, blah, blah, blah. And then I would try to get an entry based off of something that I had identified. Well, that didn't work for me too well, as you guys are well aware. And what I discovered after I began building systems and started thinking in terms of systems and strategy was I have to identify certain setups that I like, certain patterns that I'll trade, and only take those setups when these conditions are true. That's a little bit of discretion, mostly mechanical. which I think are the best discretionary systems. So yeah, look for the setups that you can objectively, over time, exploit that edge and make money on. That's the best strategy that you can come up with. And indicators, I think, is one of the best approaches because it's extremely objective and clean. You can do a lot with price action. Talk about it. So, all right. So I've talked about this for a minute. Sorry. Let's go look at the indices real quick, and then we'll hop back and let's talk about Chainlink. And that might be all the time we have for today. Whew. All right, DIA. The Dow is pulling back today. I do have long exposure on the Dow in the form of the DDM, as you guys can see from that green dot on my TradingView watch list there. Again, I don't see anything super significant. Hammer candle on the daily. If it closes like this, I'd like to see some upsurge here from the roughly from the 280 area. I'd like to see us continue appreciating here on the Dow, especially when it was just starting to get good, because the Dow has been a laggard. And although we've had this nice push to the upside here on the DIA ETF, for example, tracking the Dow. Again, this just doesn't feel like reversal. Bitcoin doesn't feel like reversal. This tight consolidation, this tight volatility, like where, something like gold I can see, like show me the death candle, show me the market sell, show me the whales dumping. I don't see that here. So remain long in DDM in good profit so far. Looking at the NASDAQ, the triple Qs, again, the tech sector taking it away again for a second consecutive day here as we move into this, for equities, I think, bullish week. So the NASDAQ continuing to push up, gapping up and pushing up to the upside. Bullish here, breaking above previous resistance and a new swing high. There's not a whole lot negative here to say. The SPY, I think, looks good as well. The SPY looks good as well. Numbers look good. I think things can continue to look well for another 2 weeks and maybe even another 2 months. It depends on what the Fed brings us in September. The end of August, beginning of September. Let's see if we get quantitative easing. If it happens, then be warned. And VIX, some good trades here, some decent setups, not the highest yield, not the highest gain, but opportunity. I don't see anything happening right now on the VIX. Let's kind of look for a drop. This is the XVZ anyways, but let's look for a drop here closer to 38, 36 is what I want to watch for until I get a momentum continuation signal. So, let's see here. Lifetime Learner, Mood Plays, Cyber. Thank you guys for the subs over there on YouTube. Sorry if I've been ignoring this. Justin draws the lottery. Mood Play Cyber. I like the video. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. York says, I think the point is more that when you earn something, it feels better for a lot of people than just having it given to them without much effort. Yeah, I mean, that's a good takeaway. I would drive that deeper though, because it's not necessarily about how you feel, although it is. There's something cathartic about it. There's something deep, right? Like, I am not one of those people that believes that life is meaningless. I do believe that this is your only life. I do believe that there is not an afterlife. I do believe that when you die, you die. But that doesn't mean that life is without purpose, and there's not something running through life that broadly we could just kind of call truth, right? Like something that's more, and again, I'm not like a godly person, but like, let's just say like righteous, right? Like something like things that are objectively right. I do believe in objective morality, right? I think that certain things are universally right or universally wrong. Not too many things, right? I think the universe is pretty simple, but there are certain things that it doesn't matter on your viewpoint. I don't really dig the whole like arguing semantics thing. There are things that are right and things that are wrong. And there are better ways to live and there are worse ways to live, just objectively. You can you can play the tape forward on people's lives. Certain decisions are objectively better than others. What I would say is when you engage your life, when you commit your energy to earning something of value, like it's completely different. It's not that you've worked for something and gotten it, and so it's like you feel better. Although that's kind of true. Like I'm giving more emotional import to it. You've exchanged your labor. You've exchanged the only thing that you can give, which is your time, essentially. The only thing that you can freely give, to pursue something that you want, right? Like you put yourself out there. You determined what you wanted. You exchanged your time for it, and you got it. And you have something, and you have it because you were powerful enough, dynamic enough, worthy enough to exchange your energy and get it. And it was what you wanted, and you now have it. And ideally, I think that in my experience, people that do that and who make good choices and who focus on valuable things to obtain, like they improve everyone around them with that choice. It's not just them that they feel better. It's that is a overall more, I don't have a better word for it than like righteous, like good decision, right? And I think that makes better communities, better people, better families, for sure. What time do we trade? It's game time. That's not saying you didn't earn your initial investment. I robbed a bank. I'm not going to lie. Listen, I'm not perfect. Let's see here. We got Tesla and Peckham. Move watched you how long? What's going on here? Yeah. How to have good life and relationships, work hard, make good decisions. Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, act as if your life has purpose, right? Act as if you're the protagonist in a movie, and you don't get to be the protagonist like if you're a schmuck, you know. And most people, if they like, most people haven't done that. Like, sometimes you just got to take a step back and look at your actions and be like, wow, am I being a real douchebag here? Sometimes the answer is yes. Correct it. All right, so looked at the ETFs, we've looked at precious metals, we've looked at crypto. I think it's time to take a look at, I mean, like the big one, like the big coin. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like the one coin to rule them all. The king of DeFi itself. We're going to be looking at Chainlink for a special presentation here on the DeFi ecosystem. Before we do that though, we got to take a brief break and we got to switch back over to this scene and talk to you guys about something very serious. Listen, car insurance, it's something that nobody likes to talk about, but the new sponsor of the channel, no, I'm just kidding, guys. We don't have sponsors for the channel. You know, Progressive, if you're watching, sorry, but you know, it's not you, it's us, but you know, call us, like maybe we could work something out, right? If you guys enjoy the content, if you guys like what you're seeing so far, if you guys enjoy the work that is put into the stream, please take a moment and support the channel. You can do so on YouTube if you hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. That will help you make sure that you get notified when we go live. Otherwise, there's no guarantee. And taking a moment to hit the like button is highly appreciated. Let's see if we can get 100 likes on today's video. It does help make sure that we're in people's feeds, that even our own subscribers can know that we're actually live. But we are live every single day at noon. So, but you know, like again, like English is not everybody's native language, and it's all good. I get it. But thank you guys. It helps us out more than you could possibly realize. Takes you a moment. If you're on Twitch or DLive, you can support us with a follow or subscribe. Furthermore, if you guys want to begin building your own objective strategy and trade with our traders, learn the things that we learn the way that we trade, utilize our indicators, receive access to our premium signal service, receive access to community and private mentoring, as well as our online trading academy and more, like automated trading, bots. I mean, the list goes on. You guys can check out all the services that we have at premium.krakencryptocurrency.com. The link is in the description down below. And we've got a very great and welcoming Discord if you guys have any questions about that. Now, one last one, and I've got to set up the whole thing for Link. We'll be back in just a moment. We're going to take a brief break. Give me about 120 seconds. Time me. I might be a few minutes past that. But I'll get set up. I'll be back. And you guys want to pay attention because a lot of individuals are interested in Link. And I want to let you guys know where I think Link is. And we've got some pretty clean objective data that I want to share with you guys. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking about Link. We're going to go to a break here. We're going to see how Jason's doing with Bybit. Again, if I had to recommend an exchange, if you guys have decided that you do want to trade Bitcoin, Ethereum, EOS, or XRP with leverage, you've made that decision. Again, a decision that you should make carefully. I could not recommend a better exchange to start on than Bybit. I have a lot of issues with many of the other exchanges, particularly the popular ones like BitMEX. I made a video not too long ago, does BitMEX trade against you? And I made the argument that, you know, if BitMEX was smart, they wouldn't. BitMEX is certainly trading against you. We have some pretty clean objective data now that it's inarguable that BitMEX is certainly trading against you. So not only that, but they've just set up their exchange to take advantage of people. But, you know, for me personally, ever since I started trading on Bybit, I don't know, I enjoy the experience a lot more, and it's good. I think that if you go to Binance as your first exchange, you just hit that slot machine of altcoins, and then you end up a buy and holder. Whereas I think if you go to Bybit, you get four markets to trade. It's good. It's good. It's a good entry opportunity for somebody who's new. And you guys can get, I think it's $90. They change it all the time. You guys will have to check the fine print. But let's go see how Jason's doing with Bybit. And we'll be back in just a moment, guys. I will refill the water for sure, man. I'm going to refill the water, grab an orange, like do some squats. I'll be right back, guys. Can't catch a break over on BitMEX with all the wicks? Try a better alternative at bybit.crackingcryptocurrency.com and rest easy for a change. Chainlink. Some wear it proud. Some don't even really know what it is. Are there really that many chains that need linked together? What exactly does it do? Well, it moves up. Number goes up. That's what it does. And for most people, that's really all they care about. You know, the words oracle or what oracles do or how that's going to be revolutionary for the space is bandied about, but the majority of the interest is certainly speculative. Now, we cannot deny that Link from, you know, let's just say the 4chan bowels from which it was birthed, has served a very interesting role in the cryptocurrency market. I would say, I mean, almost similar to the role, it seems like positionally, I mean, almost like Bitcoin played in 2016, 2017. And, you know, we kind of see this kind of mirrored in the $10 to $20 absolute march of Link. with the previous like slow growth up to Valhalla over the preceding year. So certainly one of the most bullish coins that we've had this year. And I mean, what can you say, man? It's Chainlink, stinky linky, right? So anyways, I want to take a look because we are getting a pretty significant correction in Link, something that we haven't seen in a while. This might be, we're going to look through all the evidence and objective data, and you guys will be able to draw your facts at the end of this presentation, hopefully, on whether you think it's time to dump Link, the time that, the party's over, or whether this is perhaps the best buying opportunity that you have seen for a while. Everybody watching Link, and, one thing, there were a lot of individuals that bought for some, like at least, okay, let me put it this way. I know at least 4 people that came to me this morning and said, hey, I ended up buying Link around like $18, and like last night, $18.50. What should I do? Because it's sold down pretty hard. And I just want to like ask them, okay, like before I assume that you just did something FOMO stupid, can you please tell me what objective trade setup you were taking when you bought like the top of a big green candle? And they inevitably say FOMO. Like that moment came when they just felt that if they didn't buy Link now, it would just keep going up without him and they'd miss it completely. Well, let me tell you guys, that is the worst feeling to ever enter into on a trade. And if you ever feel that feeling, the best thing you can do is stand up and walk as fast away from any electronic device that has access to the internet as you can. Right? Go get yourself an old iPod, lock yourself in the bathroom, iPod with no internet, and just go listen to some relaxing music until you don't feel that feeling anymore. Go take a walk around the block. Never trade emotionally, never invest emotionally. You will always regret it at a later time. I guarantee you, even if you end up winning. I guarantee you. All right, so we have an article here. So we want to look at some objective data. So we kind of trolled the internet and found everything that we could on Chainlink. So we're going to break down what people have to say about it, particularly what this article has to say over at Crypto Briefing. And we'll look at what's right and what's wrong about his analysis, in my opinion, and then we'll kind of translate into my analysis. So Chainlink's Link token has been cooling off sharply today. It's had a parabolic run up. Its parabolic run took it up 300%, forming new all-time highs in a matter of 6 weeks' time. And of course, we have the bull market of this summer to thank for this, because this saw Link surge to nearly $20 just within the last few days. And even though prices are down about 18% from the peak right now, the big question on everyone's mind today is whether this is a buying opportunity or, as I said, a sign of more damage to come. So if we just put this simply, Chainlink has been on somewhat of a rampage in recent months. Its native token Link is a prolific meme coin in the crypto community, and it's little wonder that in recent bullish market conditions, it has been the recipient of overwhelming speculation and accompanying volume and attention desire. Everybody wants to talk about Link. Now, such a significant bullish rally really allowed the decentralized Oracle token to provide a year-to-date return of nearly 840% as of today. You don't see these numbers anywhere else. That's why we trade crypto. So let's take a look at some sentiment data as well as on-chain analysis data today. So the first thing that I want to look at is data from Lunar Crush. So let's look at Lunar Crush here. Yes, no, I don't. I would not like to sign up for free. I can use you for free. Data from Lunar Crush reveals that over the past 24 hours, more than 65 million Link-related mentions have been registered throughout different social media networks. Some of these are on decentralized platforms as well. And more importantly, and I think the point here is that 68% of all of those social interactions have been bullish or positive, said something positive, not negative, about Link. So if we look at the social metrics, what they would tell us, if anything, is that retail investors are very, very positive. One could say outright euphoric about Link's recent price rally. But we generally know that it's when retail feels euphoric that is the time when smart investors start exiting the market. So if we look to whales holding Link, or individuals who have a large amount of Link, who are holding a large amount of it. So here we go. It's actually 69 out of 100, putting this on their alt rank of 187. Feel like it should be higher than that. But if we take a look, at, this is from Sentiment. If we take a look at whales holding Link, data would suggest that they've been periodically offloading their bags as Link has been enjoying this latest push to the upside. So on-chain data also happens to show that these whales, their addresses anyways, have been shedding Link long before this $20 all-time high was reached. So this chart right here, if we take a look at the sentiment.net holder distribution chart, we see that some of the biggest Link whales have begun offloading their bags on the market since back around August 8th. And I want to pull up here in a second sentiment so you guys can see how we actually got there. But since they began offloading, let's see here. Yep. So since they began offloading, no, we don't want to zoom in here that much. So let's just zoom in on the legend. So this line right here, this kind of tannish, brown, grayish line right here, represents Link addresses that hold 100,000 to a million Link. That's a large amount, right? At about $18 a coin. $16 now, I believe. And then the pink line represents 10,000 to 100,000. So let's call them baby whales. As we can see, as price has gone up, right? As price has kind of broke the resistance at about $13 and reached this kind of critical pivot point around $14.37, $14.97, roughly that dollar range, the $14 range. We do see a clear trend of individuals in that niche and that certain economic strata of holding that much Link beginning to significantly decrease their positions, right? And this is not true of smaller positions. So I want to take a look at that here in just a second. But the number of addresses holding 100,000 to 10 million Link has been on a steady decline. Approximately 64 large position holders in Link have left the network, representing a 2% decline in addresses of that size in just 10 days. That means, of course, that selling pressure by those individuals can put the brakes on any further price appreciation for Link, especially if the other large investors start looking for the door or feeling like they need to sell as well at this price. Because again, monkey see, monkey do. Now, in the event that we see an even steeper decline, we could look at one of the most significant supply walls that is sitting below us with price. It does happen to be at the $14.70 range. So right between that $14.30 and $14.90 that I was saying. On-chain metrics tell us that roughly 3,600 addresses had previously purchased nearly a million Link around this price level. It could be said that such a significant point of control might have the ability to absorb some of the mounting selling pressure, because again, that is where kind of the recent wave of individuals entered Link. So holders within this price range would likely try to remain profitable in their long positions, and they may even buy more tokens to avoid seeing their profitable investments turn red. This is an unknown known. We have an area that might be significant, 1470. It all depends on what the bulls are able to do, like how much capital they're able to lever up at that moment in time. Support and resistance is a thing only if there's a reaction there. So I want to go over to sentiment because I want to take a further look at some of this on-chain data here. Okay, cool. They're not going to make me do the whole thing. All right, so I understand that the chart isn't beautiful as I would like it to be. It is what it is. So let's start this off nice and clean. All right, so what we have up here, this is from sentiment.net. This is the Link price chart. And down here, we're going to show the Link holder distribution, right? So first off, I want to put on the largest possible positions, right? So this is 10 million to infinity coin holders, right? And as we can see, there's only 8 or 9, and it just flips back between 8 or 9. We have 1 million to 10 million coins, right? And I want to make sure that I get this. Yeah, so I want to get just the last. Okay, good. Okay. Here is 100,000 to 1 million coins. So again, the number, the most significant, I think, in my opinion, as far as quantity of what we would consider whales. And we can see a very clear trend. This goes back to, I can stretch this out back a little bit more. Yeah, but we can just see this decrease in the quantity of coins that they are holding significantly. And again, we can see as we go down the list, we see something dramatically different. So these are all individuals that are holding smaller positions. And as you can see a pretty clear trend, right? You can see retail increasing their purchasing like significantly. You can see the quantity of those who hold smaller positions, so just retail investors, increasing dramatically. I mean, at the exact same time as Link is ripping here, that we do get very bullish price appreciation on the chart. And again, the larger wallet addresses start to decline. And Jack makes a good point here in the live chat. He says the supersized wallets growing could be the Link Foundation or exchanges. Yes, very true. Who has the biggest wallets? Generally exchanges or the developers of the coin. So, this really does suggest, and another look at the price chart too would suggest that we do face some stiff resistance as well, right? Because there's about 9,200 addresses that hold over 3.2 million Link that purchased between $16.90 and $17.40. So it might be difficult physically for us to get back up above in a very quick way because these newcomers these newcomers essentially just bought the recent top. And it's a significant amount of holders that are currently underwater. That would imply that they could exit their positions as soon as price appreciates. And that really presents the opportunity to get out at break even for them. And that means that selling pressure could just grow right again as price climbs again. From here, you have trapped buyers above you, and that's never where you want to be when you want a bullish run. It is worth noting that after the massive gains that Chainlink has posted over the last few months, a steep correction would likely help keep the uptrend healthy, right? Like an immediate bounce back up here would likely be sold into, but sidelined investors could take advantage of a correction, a significant correction here on Link, to really get back into the market, to take advantage of lower prices and kind of secure a more optimum entry, and as well as kind of the new wave of investors, people that want to get into Link that don't have exposure, gives them an opportunity. So ultimately, it comes down to levered capital, right? A new influx of capital could propel prices further up and allow the upward trend to resume. It always can. Again, support and resistance is a thing. It depends on what happens there. Now, I want to take a brief moment here and look at my chart for Chainlink and point out the things that I think are relevant here. As far as I'm concerned, it does appear to me that Link is still in a bullish trend. This is a pullback in a bullish trend. I am going to be aggressive looking at Link here. I understand that we have steep resistance above us. It may be difficult for us to go above there, but again, the strategy here is quite simple. There's going to be either a reversal baseline bounce where I'll be setting limit entries around 1330, all right, which means we'll have to go through that 1470 level. So either I can choose to play some of the fundamental levels here, or I can choose to trade the chart that's in front of me. I choose to trade the charts in front of me. So I do see entries around 1330. That's where I'd like to enter into the market. Up to about 1340 is where I do see optimum entry. What I will be looking for, time transformation and bottom feeder applied to this chart have called bottoms quite well for Link. So I'll be utilizing the bottom feeder indicator as well to attempt to identify a bottom or a buying opportunity here in Link. And this is really, I don't want to say a rare trade, but when something is this aggressively bullish and has put in these gains, you take the opportunity on it. You buy the pullback. This is kind of the most significant rapid pullback that we've had on Link in quite a while. I mean, if you just look back on this chart, we haven't really had a significant correction since the March meltdown. Other than that, Link has just torn off to the races. So we have a nice pullback within the trend. Again, the indicators here are bullish. We do not have an exit signal either from the IFT RSI. So those are the things I'd be watching for. I like an aggressive entry here on Link. This is a trade that I'm going to be personally looking for myself, either today at daily close or over the next few days to see if we can actually just get a nice bounce and resume the trend. A lot of this depends on what Bitcoin does, but we're also in a position where Link is one of the coins with all the sentiment around it where it could decouple here a little bit and correct where Bitcoin appreciates or appreciate where Bitcoin corrects. So Link's certainly one to watch, and I do think this is going to be a rare opportunity, like not the trade for everybody to take, certainly a more aggressive and risky trade. But again, the first baby little pullback that we've seen on Link in quite a while, the statistics would suggest that you're aggressive, right? The statistics would reward aggression with this one. So that's the setup that I'll be looking for if I'm able to get filled on my limit order. Again, other options that I see, of course, we pointed out some of those levels of liquidity. You could try to trade off of that. I would recommend that you have some experience doing that so that you understand an edge or that you've developed some sort of strategy that's a little bit more nuanced than I buy this level, sell this level. But 1470 would be an interesting level of support to watch. And again, that 1740 level to watch for a level of resistance. But again, ultimately, at the end of the day, you have to make your own decisions. What I will say is that I do not think that Link looks here. When I say I'm going to buy, I'm not really looking for an investment in Link, and I'm certainly not looking for a positional trade. I think this is a good swing trade to kind of take advantage of late stage market euphoria. Not actually sure if that's where we're at. We could appreciate more. But be conservative with your position sizing. The setup would recommend aggression. And I've been watching Link for a while, traded Link quite a bit. Swing traded this up. But watching for an aggressive kind of unique entry here. At the end of the day, make sure that you guys are comfortable with the trades that you're going to put on. You make your own trading decisions, and you take the trades that your strategy gives you. Things to consider. So, listen, I'm not going to get into Link's use case. I'm not going to get into, like, you know, particularly like whether or not I like Link. I do. It's cool. I like their logo. They gave me this free shirt at San Francisco. But there are a lot of unanswered questions about Link. And certainly what made a huge stir recently was the publication that was put out. It was broadcast all over Twitter, like The Truth About Link, you know, showcasing that there is, you know, significant, let's just say, that there's something rotten in the state of Denmark, right? That development is not as far along as we think, that there's not actually an oracle. It's not doing what it says. It's untested. It doesn't work. It's broke. And it's just the hype train. So shout out to 4chan. This will not be the first coin or project that had nothing underneath it that was able to, you know, be valued very highly. There is a massive information disconnect because the majority of individuals don't actually value knowledge. The majority of individuals value what makes them feel good, confirmation bias, and what the crowd is doing, and, you know, just confirmation bias and sentiment crowd approval, right? People want to be validated by the crowd, and that often leads them to make inappropriate decisions. But let me know you guys' comments in the section down below. What do you guys think about Link? Is this a buying opportunity for you, or are there signs of more pain to come? And this is just the beginning. Either way, certainly one to watch. Don't. I mean, you got to do this, man. If you want to be in the market, I think that it behooves you to track that which is interesting, and look for unique ways to trade it, right? Look for unique ways to trade it. You can trade what everybody else is trading, because where there's liquidity, where there's volatility, there's opportunity. You don't have to look for the same edge that everybody else does. So identify a unique edge, identify a unique strategy, and go trade it. Let me know in the section down below what you guys think. All right, bet. State of Denver, is that what I heard? Yes, that's what you heard. All right, 156. We're on track. Let's take a few moments and just kind of let's chit chat. Now let's get the chart up. This is weird. I don't want you guys looking at my buy-sell trade. All right, here we go. Back at the charts. Back at Link. Ooh. All right, let's check out what Bitcoin is doing. See if I am rich or poor. I'm not doing too bad. All right. So again, Bitcoin has found a little bit of support here at the $11,900 area, pushing back up to 12,000. A lot of people kind of watching that $12,000 area as a pivot point or a critical level of acceptance or rejection. I don't really put a lot of import on the $12,000 number. I find that giving psychological numbers a lot of import kind of puts you on the wrong side of the market. What I do not want to see really is I don't really want to see acceptance below 11,700. I don't want to see price trading below 11,700. That really does call into question a pullback versus really being accepted into a previous trading range. This has the potential to be, and currently what I think it is from a technical perspective, is a breakout followed by a BPC, break, pullback, continuation opportunity, and re-entry for a lower trade. I think that long trades are the right move here. Well, it's the position that I'm in. I've yet to be invalidated. So hold this position open and we'll see what comes for us intraday. S180XT is starting to become a Link bear. I'm happy I could do that for you, my friend. All right, let's look at some of these comments here. Somebody said, but BTC for Bybit F. Whoops, mean Bybit for FBTC. Just looking at the screen. That man yeeted himself right. Wealth is for me defined as joy in your craft as your own master. Philip Carr, I think that's an eloquent way to put it. Those are good words, my friend. York had a little bit of auger. Yeah, Uniswap, man. Jack says, wealth for me is measured in the number of racks that I've accumulated in old Nike shoeboxes under the bed, as well as gold grills and cars in the garage. You are prepping for the end, my friend. Right on. Ghetto fabulous. York was really happy to come out on top. Yeah, 0x is expensive. A lot of things are expensive in the Ethereum marketplace right now. FOMO stupid is B-Flow's new license plate. Hey, it's a conversation starter. Yeah, it's a good point, Scott. Best place to, Mastash, best thing to do is hop in the Discord community. Wook Chewy is going to buy Link at $3 or $4 chart, $3 or $4. Let it copy the BTC chart. So big correction. Medical Crypto says, is it true that Link is not actually an oracle? It's just a marketplace for oracles. which Alex responds, that's what it's supposed to be at least. To be quite honest with you, I don't know. I don't know. I have the pleasure of being a Bitcoin maximalist. So that means I get to say, you know, I think a lot of these altcoins are doing fantastic, awesome things, but what they're doing fundamentally is doing all the testing for the stuff that's eventually going to go on Bitcoin, right? You know, I do agree with the simple argument. Adam Back makes this argument, for example, that, you know, we don't have multiple types of TCP/IP. We have one dominant protocol. Bitcoin has the potential, has the name brand, has the decentralization, has everything it needs to do everything that's currently being done. The only reason why it's not is because right now, anyways, is because Bitcoin, for a large part, a lot of its development is focused on other things that are more important, things like security, interoperability. You know, scaling is something that needs to be taken care of. But again, we have Schnorr signatures and we've got Taproot coming to the network this year, actually 2020 and 2021. So within a year, we're going to see those upgrades to the Bitcoin protocol. Those are going to issue in a lot of things. We do need Taproot for the ability to do some certain things on the base layer that we'd like to do. We talked yesterday about all of the DeFi innovation that's actually occurring on second layer on the Lightning Network right now. So a lot of cool opportunities, even like state channels where you don't have to be online for your transaction to be processed. So good stuff. I think a lot of this stuff is going to come to Bitcoin because it just makes more sense. Like, you know, do you like having 9 different banking apps on your mobile device, or do you like having one, right? Like one that does everything. It seems a no-brainer to me. But in the meantime, I cannot deny that it has been one of the great pleasures of my life to speculate on altcoins, you know, alt run after alt run, and convert the profit into BTC. So I think that has always been my goal. My overall goal is to track my USD value because I pay my bills in USD, and one day that will change. That's why I put some of that BTC away for the long term. Yeah, so bringing up some good points. The fact that you have this decentralized marketplace for oracles doesn't really solve the problem. The Pie Guy says that the Link team, he has heard that the Link team is literally holding 26% of the total supply. There is a large amount of the supply that's held by the Link Foundation. And there is certainly objectively a class of large holders of Link who have been exiting over the last few weeks. Link features are dropping. Yeah, I was looking at the, I'm sorry, man, I do not speak Russian. I was looking at the WSOT leaderboard today, and it's kind of like roughly where we were. I think some people have switched positions. You know, it is certainly like kind of disappointing to see about 20% of people are in negative P&L and about 50% of the individuals on the leaderboard are in negative P&L and 50% are in positive P&L. You know, if you zoom out though, take a look at a bunch of the other leaderboards. Like that's pretty much everybody. I would say obviously it's inarguable that when you have a candle like that or a movement like that, and you see that funding is very high, you know that the majority of the market is long. So the majority of retail traders are going to get wrecked on a move like that. Or like, let's just say temporarily inconvenienced. We don't know what the result of the next trade is going to be. For example, it's possible to be negative 3%, negative 20%, and then on the next trade be up 10%. So, you know, you kind of got to play the tape forward. This is why we look at monthly results, weekly results, yearly results. But what I will say is that, yeah, I mean, it's hard to get a good grasp of one's P&L too when they're just trading one asset, right? So for example, like one of the secrets to my success is that I'm very diversified. So I trade crypto, I trade CFDs, I trade Forex, I trade ETFs. There's a lot that I trade. So like, for example, let's say that nothing interesting was happening in cryptocurrency right now. Well, that would be okay because I've got some fantastic positions in Forex. I've got winners in CFDs. I've got winners in ETFs. And that makes me less beholden to the cryptocurrency markets. Whereas if you're just trading one asset, you know, again, the competition is by its very nature kind of designed in such a way to incentivize those who practice a low time frame preference, right? You know, a kind of aggressive risk, aggressive entries. You know, and that's, you know, sometimes that's fun for a scalping strategy, right? Some people enjoy to do that. Eventually you lose money doing that and it's not fun anymore and you realize that trading isn't a game. But yeah, you know, big shout out to everybody participating in the WSOT event with us. I think we're doing pretty well. We are, objectively. Like, go look at the leaderboards. Let's see here. Do you guys know of any crypto projects you like geared toward low interest mortgages? I'm looking to buy a home / I hate banks. There are some out there, my friend. Dan, hey, good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a while. It says, it's been a while, been busy building my theater room. I was holding some Orchid, checked up on it a few days, and it was up 350%. Hey, it's good stuff, man. If you're telling me that that script is German, I'm going to say that you are incorrect. And if he is speaking German, he's using Russian script. So I cannot read. I cannot read if it is in German. Ich kann nicht dich hören. The link FUD is laughable, says Peanut Buddha. When you're the big dog, everyone is going to be gunning for you and looking to take you down. None of this is new. I mean, yeah, that's also true, but I mean, Link is a speculative asset. You do have, objectively, a sizable number of a certain class of holders exiting the market. That does not necessarily mean that the project is worthless or useless, but it will raise questions, and it's valid to ask those questions. The position that like questioning something that doesn't have good answers, it's not super helpful. I will say I do not have any active position in Link. I do hold a little bit of Link. I haven't sold it off yet. I don't really intend to, because as I said earlier, I don't think the trend is broken to the downside. I'm actually looking for I'm a long entry, so. But Dragon Crypto, hope you're still holding that Flexicoin. Thanks, Hardlight. I appreciate it. Are we mooning today? Let's go see it. Let's go look at FXC, and then we kind of got to go, guys. I got stuff I got to do. Go Flexicoin. I did. I don't, again, I'm not the big altcoin guy. I trade altcoins all the time, but I'm not the one that sits here and tells you, hey man, this coin's gonna 100x moon, like guaranteed, must for sure, like all these other crypto YouTubers do, because I don't need to shill you anything to profit. I have my own hustle. But yeah, I talked about Flexicoin. That was just a coin that I liked. I identified it, had good, the things that I like to see. And Flexicoin's done well. All right. Yeah, I feel you, man. Dan, I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate the viewership. All right, guys, it's time to hit the door. Let's do it like this. Thank you guys so much for joining me for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin Market Update. I really appreciate all the support, great live chat, great engagement. If you guys haven't already, make sure to smash up the like before you go, subscribe if you haven't already, and share this video to those who you think could use it the most, whether they're interested in Link, whether they're interested in the markets or broadly where we're going. And really anybody who just needs a little bit of calm down, there's nothing objective to see here, send it to them. You guys have been great. I hope you guys trade safely for the rest of the day. We'll be updating the premium members on our positions, the premium signal service here later on in the evening, as we do every single day. And we will be back tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin to break down the markets and just, be here. A firm guide in the markets, guys. You guys are all amazing. Just trade safely, man. It's a good day. Don't get overly stressed. Make objective decisions. If you feel the urge to take a trade or a position or close the position or do anything based not on strategy, but on fear or greed or any other negative emotion, do me a favor, just stand up, go for a brief walk, come back, make the decision with a clearer head, okay? You're not gonna make good decisions if you're worried, right? Remember, you need some confidence in the market. Everything is gonna be okay. You're going to get to where you need to be. If you're putting in the work and putting in the time, you will accomplish what you need to accomplish, all right? Do not worry overly about this instance right now, because it's not one trade, it's not one decision, it's not one moment that defines your trading or defines you as an individual. It is your strategy applied objectively over time, and you are not your strategy. You can change your strategy. It takes a little bit longer to change yourself. So disassociate your identity and your trading strategy, and you'll feel a whole lot better, and you'll make better objective decisions. You'll be better. All right, guys, check out the links below if you want. And of course, premium.krakencryptocurrency.com to join our community, receive access to all of our to all of our services, including our premium signal service, our premium indicator suite, our Discord community, our private Discord community, that is, mentoring community, and one-on-one, as well as our online trading academy. So much and so much more around the corner, including automation and bots. Trade safely, guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Cheers. Where's the exit button? Ah, there it goes. Cheers.